Am I really that much to handle? Breaking these niggas down like a camel. You don't really to throw you out.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I have my colleague with me here, and we have both just finished our first year as PhD students, and we want to share our experience so far. So if you're just starting your journey as a PhD student, or you're thinking about, starting your studies, so this video is for you. So stick around.
Yeah.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Ufoma, and I just completed my first year as a PhD student, and my research is literally around organizational behavior and leadership. And yeah, I'm happy to be here.
That's amazing. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
All right, so we'll just go right into it, and
Okay.
we'll start with expectations versus reality. So the first question I'll be asking you is, before you started your PhD, what did you think it was going to be like?
I think before I started PhD, it was more or less like, you know how when you tell people you want to start a PhD degree, and then they're like, oh, how are you going to do it? It's like the hardest thing ever.
Yeah.
Everyone just paints it as the hardest thing ever, and then it can easily pull you back. And I think that fear kind of was I would say the fear was lingering in my first 6 months, because it was the feeling of, oh, are you sure I can do this? I know they say it's very, very difficult. And then, to be honest, I feel like the first so surrounding myself with like-minded people, like people that were on same journey and they are also determined to achieve same goal that I'm trying to achieve, has kind of kept me going. And the expectation at first was like, it's going to be terribly hard and I wouldn't be able to do it. But I think that PhD is a very lonely journey, and the people around you, if you keep the positive energy, like positive people that they have similar goals around you, it would help you to keep going. And we're pushing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think mine as well was, very similar to yours as well. When I started, I've always seen PhD as such a big deal.
Yeah.
So I kind of put that pressure on myself, But one thing that I know that really helped me was just, talking to people, whenever I have questions, always ask, no matter, even if it seemed like a silly question, just ask. And that really helped me to, find a way to, come around it. Okay, and then the second question would be, what has been the hardest part of your first year?
I think the hardest part of my first year is time management. You see, it's normal 24 hours. It just seems like it's never enough anymore. I think that's been my greatest challenge. Like, it's just like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, before you know it's late. And then the funny thing is, when you start reading and you probably said, okay, I want to try and sort out this part of my research for the day. You end up reading lots of journals, and at the end of the day, you just see you've written like one paragraph or 2 lines or 3 lines. And you're like, what was I doing all day? That time management, it has been, I think that's the hardest part of the journey.
Wow, that's something. I think I can also relate with that in terms of writing, academic writing. Coming from a Nigerian educational background, honestly, that critical part of writing was something that I was struggling with. I realized that I was writing very descriptively because I got that comment a lot from my supervisor, and so it now made me I had to go back to the drawing board to start to research more, watch videos on YouTube on how to write better, how to critique, look at people's work, what has been done, and then find how you want to now, what you're now contributing based on what you found that exists.
I think it makes so much sense, because when I say you're reading all day and then you're now trying to get your words together, you can't just read and then copy what you've read into your work. You then have to now critically analyze all these papers Yeah, I think that's really the hardest part. Yeah.
Okay, and then the other question would be: was there a moment you felt like this PhD is just too much?
Yeah.
You know.
I think the moment I felt that way would be probably when I saw like there were other things to attend to apart from the main research in terms of their conferences, their paper submissions, posters that I wasn't even getting involved in, and then I was still struggling with trying to get my research right. You know, I think at that point I just felt like, oh my God, can I do this? Can I merge this thing together? And then you know when you talk to people ahead of you and they're like, oh, I published so papers, and I'm like, how are you able to manage? How are you able to do research, publish papers? Like, it's, you know, it just felt like, can I really do it? But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, honestly, I think for me, honestly, this first year was a lot. I don't even want to go into detail, but most times I always felt like I didn't know what I was doing, you know. But again, just talking to people really made me understand that I'm not alone. Like, there are people that are actually going through it. I remember asking someone that had just finished their Viva, did you ever feel like you knew what you were doing, or when did you start to feel like, okay, I'm getting? She was like, even up to the day of her Viva, she always felt like, okay, what am I doing? And so for me, that kind of gave me that assurance that, okay, you know what, you've got this. Just have a plan, have a timeline, you know, and tell yourself, okay, I'm going to do this today. I'm going to read this number of papers today. Just have a timeline, have a goal, what you're trying to achieve. You know,
Yeah, I think there was something my supervisor? Someone told me something, and they were like, if you've not gotten to the stage in your research where you're like, what am I doing? You've not started. Like, if you've not gotten to the stage where you are lost, you've not started. So I think it's part of the journey.
It is. Okay, and so the next question would be, how has the academic side been like? I know we've touched on this, but yes, it has the academic side been like, research, supervision, and deadlines.
It's still the same time management that I spoke about earlier, like being able to manage time around supervisor meetings that you have to meet up with, and the fact that academic wise we have to upload these meetings. Like, it's a must. You can't even run from it. It's part of your whole academic thing. So I think it's the same time management, being able to plan yourself around what needs to be done at a particular time, just to ensure you meet these deadlines.
Okay, I think that's right. I agree with you absolutely. You know, just constantly communicate, trying as much as possible to communicate with your supervisors. You know, whatever you have, it must not be so perfect, but just try as much as possible to always send in what you have, so that you can get a good review from your supervisors and then know the next step to take. So I always try as much as possible to have that one-on-one with my supervisors, and that really.
And I think supervisors are like the major part of your like, it's so important. The person, whoever is your supervisor in this journey, is so important. They are like, they impact your journey one way or the other. Like, it is so important. Having the right supervisor to keep you going, push you, keep you, you know. Because it's a really lonely journey, to be honest. You really need that good supervisor.
Absolutely. Okay, so I would ask the next question, which is, how has doing a PhD affected your personal life or mental health?
I think with this PhD, I've been so intentional about my mental health and my personal life. I try to be very intentional. I try to create time for me, create me time. I pick days where, I just go myself to the cinema and just take a break. And then I remember there was a time I didn't open my work for 1 month plus. I think that was after my probation review. You know how you're reading so much for something and then you now do it. It just felt like a burden off my shoulder, and I took 1 month and I didn't open my work. I couldn't be bothered. So I was very, very intentional.